It won't import, it keeps giving me an error. Old story of mine. Female in IT. This was when I was about 2 years with the company I worked for. I would assist clients setting up their new MFP devices to the network on site. This is about one particular client I disliked visiting. I worked with when I first started and found out they were going to be a problem. The IT group at this place thought highly of themselves. I think that came from the liquid courage they kept in their desks, no joke, and everyone there knew. None of them cared for me, would say they didn't need help, but cried for it until I showed up. I directed them what to do, then it worked and they shoved me off like they fixed it. This time, we're replacing their fleet. Export/import settings. Like many MFPs back then, some still are, their files were specific extensions and needed the file name formatted properly to import so it could recognize the file. During the replacement, the main IT guy wouldn't let me view him getting the files as I physically swapped MFPs old for new. Security reasons. Fine. You do what you're doing, I do what I'm doing. I reminded him at least 5 times when he was exporting to not change the file name because it has to be specific. Since there's many MFPs, create a folder and name that. I know what I'm doing, I don't need you to tell me how to do my job. Every other word was a cuss word. Okay. 10 minutes go by. It won't import, it keeps giving me an error. I tried to look over and he snapped at me. I know what I'm doing, your machine doesn't want to take it. You can't look at the screen due to security. He cusses, blabs, whatever. Reminded him of the file format again. I did my part, so I sat down opposite of him as all new are in place. 20 more minutes go by and he finally gets up and goes to his office to check his computer, cussing at me as he walks away. So, sir. Let's see why you're having an issue since you failed at locking the PC for security reasons. Good job, buddy. Also, I had other clients to get to. There wasn't anything on the PC opened, just web UI. File name format, wrong. Shocked face. He added a letter that was to represent the location. I deleted the letter, uploaded the file in the correct file name format, and kept the confirmation up on the screen when he returned. I sat away from the PC, waiting for him. Hey, it worked. He acts like he did it himself. Next one. Nope, won't work. Same error. I repeat about the file name. He yells at me. At this point, my patience ran out, I was tired of being cussed at, and wanted to get away from that place. I stood up, walked over, he flipped, I told him to move if he wants it fixed or I was leaving. 5 minutes and a lot of yelling from him, he finally moved. I deleted the last letter in the file name. Import it, I said as I walked away from him. He looks at me like I'm insane. He imports the file. Look at that, it works. I exclaimed while gathering my stuff. What did you do? He's looking for logs and info. I started walking away. Fix the file name like I told you and you'll get your info into the new machines. Have a good day. I headed out of the department and to the front. He cussed me out all the way up to the front door. I smiled, waved at the front desk lady to say bye and looked at him and said, you know what you're doing. Good luck. I walked out. He apologized to me 5 years later during their next upgrade. File name format is no longer a thing with the MFPs after that model series. He still sorted them into folders, not changing the name. Story 2. When the drive for a new iPhone is too great, you get fired. I work as an executive support technician for a large company. I have a team of 8 people under me and we support high-ranking executives and their administrative assistants. Because of the nature of our work, we have the ability to get things done that the standard help desk cannot. We can force upgrades that would otherwise be denied, get things expedited, skip the normal procedures and talk directly with the people who fix the issues. While we are executive support, there are still levels. When the CEO is in town, one of us is camped outside of wherever he might be in case there is any sort of issue. For lower people, we make sure things get done as quick as possible, but it's not a drop everything situation. As we prepped for the releases of the new iPhones, we braced for the flood of I need this that inevitably happens. We slot in orders immediately for the top of the pyramid guys, and then work our way down, replacing, or sometimes having to tell them that they have to wait because the device they have is too new to warrant replacing. So on Monday, the EA of a lower-end exec put in a request to get both herself and the exec new 256GB iPhone Xs. The exec was put on the approval list, with a wait, but the EA was denied. She had just been issued an iPhone 7 a few months ago. And she began to raise hell about I have to support him, so I need to have the exact same phone etc. Still denied. On Tuesday, I get a ticket from the EA, iPhone will not turn on, require replacement with attached ticket for iPhone 10 request. I send one of my drones out to investigate and I immediately get a text saying I have to get out there. I get out there and the iPhone is wet, not just wet, but dripping wet, like just pulled out of a glass of water, wet with a screen that could only be called heavily cracked. The EA states I was using it and it fell into my water bottle, so we take the phone back to our area and I've called my manager over and we explain it. It's obvious what has happened. We've toweled it off and when we turn it over, water drizzles out of the cracked screen. Well, as luck would have it, we have spares, so I pluck a nice 64 gig rose gold iPhone 6s that was returned when the previous owner departed the company. I call and have the SIM reprovisioned. I reassign the phone in AirWatch and I have the phone returned to the EA. 10 minutes later, said EA is at our door, ranting, screaming, saying that she can't work like this, she needs a new phone and if we don't give her one, executive will make us give her one. I step in and tell her a permanent replacement is just beginning the process. We have had to issue you this phone as a loaner so you can continue working until a permanent replacement is sourced. Q Wednesday, the approval process has come back denied for her replacement. The loaner phone is now her permanent phone. This info is relayed to the EA, who is fuming. Lots of executive will hear about this and statements of I can't believe this is happening to me, how will I work? Wednesday afternoon, same EA, new ticket, iPhone broken, need replacement. I head out myself to see the issue and the phone looks like it was dragged behind a semi-truck for 100 miles. The screen is shattered, a big chunk missing out the top near the camera, big dents in the back. I calmly ask what happened? This phone was perfect this morning? The reply, well, since you gave me an old phone, my case didn't fit and it slipped out of my hands and fell down the stairs. Well, okay, could you tell me when and what stairwell this happened? She does, and I take the mangled phone, I grab my manager and we head off to the security office, and we pull the tapes. On the video we see the EA walking up the stairwell, concrete stairs, metal handrail, your typical big building non-public stairwell. She reaches the top and proceeds to fling the phone, like one would skip a stone, down from the 6th floor to the mid-floor landing. Where it lands, she steps on it and then kicks it down to the 5th floor. It bangs off the metal fire door and she picks it up, examines it and then tosses it down the stairs towards the 4th floor, bouncing off a few steps before landing on the mid-landing between 5 and 4. She picks the device up, and pries a large section of something off the phone. We suspect this was the chunk missing by the camera, and then heads back up the stairs, running the phone against the cinder block wall as she climbs. So we grab a copy of the video, we head straight to HR, we sit with the personnel director, we show her the video, we show her the 2 damaged iPhones, we show her the tickets, I relay the abuse thrown to myself and my techs about how she demands an iPhone 10 and has taken to destroying company property to get it. Termination follows, however the user has gone home for the day, her accounts are disabled, her security badge flagged. 7:30 a.m. today, the EA attempts to get into the building and her badge does not work, so she has to walk to the security office. The security officer takes the badge, and walks her to HR. 8 a.m., the security officer and 2 members of HR are escorting the EA out of the building. She's alternating between yelling and crying, demanding that executive be called and that she's being framed. As she's brought through the main foyer, I'm on the 2nd floor balcony that overlooks the entrance. She looks up at me, curses me and is gone. Both phones, her laptop and other equipment have been placed with the legal team as a precaution. Company policy when there is a messy separation. Maybe I'll buy my team pizza for lunch today, seems like the right thing to do.